my God, I don't know if I'm going to make it. Tired. Hello, and welcome to a brand new episode of Dylan Knows. It is 11:23 p.m. here on, what is it, April 21st? 22nd. April 22nd, 2003. I am home alone again. My wife and son are camping again. My daughter is doing her work camp again. And that's okay. I don't mind, actually. Next week is my daughter is working backstage at her high school musical. That's going to be next weekend. So they will be home next weekend. It's also my mom's birthday next weekend. And then the weekend after that, they're going camping again. But that's going to be a great weekend. That's the first weekend in May. It's Guardians of the Galaxy 3. It's free comic book day. It's the Kentucky Derby, Towson Town Festival. It's the what do you call it? The fake wood duck event here in Haverty Grace, rather. Not here, we're in Reisterstown. Okay. Before I go on, I'm going to give this a try, I guess. This is a new drink that is filled with double the caffeine as usual. It's energy drinks. I usually don't tend to like this. This might not be the best thing to do, but right now I really need a little bit of a kick here. So this is blue raspberry. Let's see. Not too bad. Maybe it'll give me enough energy to get through the rest of the day here. So we got lots of animal stuff going on. We've got some space stuff. We've got Alec Baldwin stuff. We've got trailers. We've got casting. We've got some Fortnite stuff. We've got beheadings. We've got production starts. We've got production ends. We've got just all kinds of some new food items, including a new Mountain Dew flavor, which actually sounds pretty good for once. And we're continuing. I'm getting ready we're on episode 497 here, War of the Woodland Animals. And we're getting closer and closer to episode 500, which should also be the first weekend of May. So that was the other thing I was thinking. I was like, what am I missing? And that's what it was. And I'll be doing my 500 best movies. And I got the list down. I just need to rank them now. Which is going to take a little bit of time, I think, but I don't have much time. And somehow going to have to film 5 individual episodes called The Road to 500 to do this. I don't know where I'm going to do this. But it's got to be during that time frame. So maybe I'll just do, since my family will be gone that weekend, maybe I'll just do it all weekend, just work on this show and do the list. So we'll see. But I will be seeing Guardians of the Galaxy. I'm taking that Friday off. That should be pretty cool. So what do we got going on today? Cannes? No, we're not going to talk about Cannes because I didn't write anything about Cannes. But that's just say Cannes is getting much more bigger now. They've gotten the premiere of Elemental, the premiere of the Indiana Jones movie, the premiere of Flowers of the Killers of the Flower Moon. They're going to get the premiere of some other big time films that are coming out here soon in a little bit. So they're getting busy here. So first up, American Born Chinese got their first full trailer. They had a teaser trailer earlier, right? That came out right after the Oscars because it has Michelle Yeoh and Ki Kui Han in it as well. And it's based on a graphic novel. And we get a better idea of what the story's about. Basically, it's about a regular Asian boy trying to live his life in a white American city and school. And teacher brings a new Asian student in and immediately puts them together so that he can show them around and be friends. We find out that this new Asian child is the son of an Asian goddess. And it's his job to fight the bad guy. So it looks pretty interesting. It's a series on Disney Plus coming out May, I think at the end of May. May 25th, actually. And looks really, really good. And I'm excited to see what they do with that. Speaking of Killers of the Flower Moon, I'm presently reading the book right now that it's based on. The movie itself will not be out physically until, I believe, October-ish. I don't think it's coming out anytime soon, but it will be making a debut at Cannes. It was announced this week that at first it's going to be at least 4 hours long, but I think they reduced it down to 3 hours and 26 minutes now. So we'll see how that turns out. But there's a lot of ground to cover, and it could be one of the first Scorsese films that I'm actually intrigued to check out in the movie theater when it comes out. Massive cavern in West Antarctica Glacier is teeming with life. This was discovered by a bunch of scientists who were doing research there, discovered a cavern filled with all kinds of life underneath the West Antarctic Glacier. So that's kind of interesting. The Lyriad meteor shower is going on as we speak right now, 9 p.m. to 2 a.m. Find a dark spot patch somewhere without any lights. It's not a big one. 10 to 20 meters an hour, so it's not a lot. It's not like the other big ones you get later in the year where you get like 100 to 200 an hour. This one's a quick little 10 to 20 an hour, so it would just be a lot of just staring up at the sky, and you see, oops, there's one, and then waiting like 15 minutes later, there's another one. So if you're into that, my wife and kids might be able to do that. Since they're camping, they might be able to they have brighter, or I'm sorry, darker skies, so they might be able to see more of that. We're cloudy here, so I don't think we'd see anything anyway. But the moon is also waning, I think. Yes, is waning. So it should be extra dark outside as well. The casting of Black actress Adele James in the Netflix Cleopatra project is getting legal action in Egypt. They do not believe that they should have cast a Black female in the role of Cleopatra. So the country of Egypt apparently is suing Netflix. So, okay. You should also probably sue Hollywood for having Elizabeth Taylor be a white Egyptian Cleopatra. Cleopatra was not white. She might not have been a dark black, but she was dark skinned because the Egyptians are darker skinned. So I'm not exactly sure what this lawsuit is all about, but okay. A couple weeks ago, I told you about a bizarre whirlpool of light that was photographed in the air, in the skies at night. I forget where this was. I think it was Hawaii, actually. And people were wondering what it was. Turned out that it was the SpaceX rocket fuel. When it ejects out of it, freezes in the atmosphere and creates these perfect swirls and stuff like that. That's what they say. Regardless, there is another one was photographed and filmed in Alaska this week amongst a green aurora borealis, which I love anyway, but it's another shot of these crazy whirlpools that have been showing up lately. Of light up in the air. Some local news, Harbor Place, which was created in the early 1980s, was a huge resurgence for the city of Baltimore. It was 2 pavilions of shops and restaurants that coincided with the opening of our aquarium and helped revitalize our inner harbor area. And then gradually, as the decades passed, it started getting worse and worse, and now hardly anything is in those shops now. So it has been sold to another local real estate company who now has a 3-year window to get things right and don't have to pay rent on it. So their job is now to come in, guns blazing, and try to recreate Harbor Place again. It had restaurants, it had small shops, which were, interesting. They had a place called Embraceable Zoo, which was all stuffed animals. They had a comic book shop there. They had all kinds of neat stuff. And now it's just sort of empty and dead, which is weird. But I guess COVID and the fear of being downtown at night, I guess, because of all stuff that's been going on over the last 10 years or so, has, done that, but hopefully things will change down there. The revitalization near Camden Yards also is happening, so maybe that'll coincide with what's going on down here. So that's an interesting thing to go like that. A while back, we talked about Netflix released like a trailer of all the stuff that's going to be coming out this year, and one thing that caught our eyes was Millie Bobby Brown as sort of like a fantasy sort of sword wielder. Well, we have a name for the show. The movie is called Damsel. and it's due out October 13th on Netflix. First posted before it came out this week. Speaking of Millie Bobby Brown, her show Stranger Things is going to start filming their 5th and final season in about 2 months from now. But she is presently, Stranger Things itself has been, the rights to it have been bought by Dark Horse Comics. They've released a number of comic book miniseries based in the Stranger Things universe. And they have a new thing where they're going to be crossing over with one of IDW's and other comic book companies, and one of my former companies, I should say. IDW's one of their comic properties, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. So we will be getting a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Stranger Things crossover probably sometime in July. So that could be really interesting to see that and see how that turns out. Scream the Game, Funko Games is going to be releasing a tabletop game based on the horror slasher film Scream, which is kind of intriguing to see how they do that. It could be really interesting. So that could be good. Super Mario Brothers cruises past $400 million domestic to about $434 million estimated right now domestic. That's this week. It made $57 million, I think, at the box office, estimated, with Evil Dead Rise coming in second with about 22 million estimated, which is performing better than expected as well. So Super Mario Brothers continues to break records and make tons and tons of money, and we're probably looking for a $1 billion film here coming up soon. Good for them. Alec Baldwin has his manslaughter charges have been dropped, and production on the film Rust, where the whole situation went down, has restarted, and they're going to be finishing that up soon. So hopefully there'll be no more accidents, no more problems, and we can move on with our lives. Speaking of Alec Baldwin, he's also been cast in a movie called Hollywood Heist, where he'd be playing a fictionalized version of himself. The film also stars Mickey Rourke and Nick Cannon and Tara Reid as well. And the basic premise is it's a guy who's trying to land Alec Baldwin as a client and has to deal with some other stuff as well. Charlie XLX or XCX, I don't know who she is, but she must be some sort of somebody, has joined the cast of the Faces of Death remake, which I've been talking about periodically and sporadically here on this show. The fact that they're remaking Faces of Death is kind of disturbing, but okay. But it is, in this case, you will not be saying that it's real people dying because they've cast all these actors in it. Halle Berry and Angelina Jolie are going to square off in an action film called Maude vs. Maude, which could be a huge film. I believe probably sometime next year if they get started filming on it now. That could be a really interesting film to see with the two of those actresses going mano a mano. Ted Lasso's Juno Temple has joined the cast of Venom 3 in an undisclosed role, so we'll see what she becomes. National Treasure: The Edge of History, the Disney Plus TV show, has been canceled after only one season due to low ratings. I was going to watch it, but it just never really was enough for me to say, hey, I'm going to sit down and watch this. So I never watched it. So you can blame me for that if you like the show. I apologize. Same with Willow. I've always wanted to watch it, but then I never sat down to watch it. So a lot of Disney Plus's other shows haven't been doing quite as well. Hopefully that'll be changing soon. But we'll see what happens with that. Bruce Campbell has joined the cast of Hysteria, which is the Peacock series starring Julie Bowen about the 1980s satanic crisis. That those who grew up in the 1980s remember that Satanists were major bad guys that Republicans and the media kept spouting off about in music and games and movies and stuff like that. So, but it's interesting to see Bruce Campbell joining the cast of the show. Should be interesting to see what role he plays. And Julie Bowen, of course, is all wonderful and local. So, successful streamer Markiplier, who I've never heard of, so must not be that successful, actually, I'm just not really into stuff anymore, will be writing and directing an adaptation of a submarine horror film called Iron Lung. So that's an interesting idea. But he is a successful streamer on, I guess, YouTube as well. So interesting. Fortnite. I haven't played Fortnite in about 2 days now, but it is entering its 6th year and is still the most popular free game on PlayStation. So all those people who say Fortnite is dying, you're wrong. It may not be as pop culture as it was 6 years ago or even 5 years ago, but it's still hugely popular. And just deal with it. One of my favorite comic book writers and one of the most accomplished comic book writers and a very wonderful artist are teaming up to take on a Magneto miniseries. J.M. DeMatteis and Todd Nuck will be doing a Magneto comic book miniseries, probably again due out probably in July. Usually when they announce these products, it means they're going to be in the May previews, which is 2 months difference. Since I worked at Diamond for a while, I know my previews, so that would make it for items shipping in July. So look for that then to go along with your Stranger Things and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Tom Brady, again, is threatening to sue comedians over an AI-generated special that's, what is it? Being impressions of him, so, and making fun of him. So he just can't take that stress, I guess. Anniversaries. The last episode of WKRP in Cincinnati was released in 1982. And Field of Dreams, a wonderful movie, came out 34 years ago this week. The first 2 deaths this week. Barry Humphries, who portrayed Dame Edna over in England, as well as was a vocal actor on Finding Nemo and The Hobbit, died this week. At the age of 89, and Dwayne Earl Poole, writer of The Smurfs, died at the age of 74 this week. Boom. Lucky Charms mini cereal. I don't know how great that is, because the biggest thing about Lucky Charms is the fact that they have good-sized marshmallows in your cereal, and let's say in Austin Powers, like you're eating candy, so, but these are mini marshmallows and probably not as exciting as the full-size ones. But I guess there's a time and a place for mini stuff, and I guess it's here. The University of Colorado Buffaloes, hired former NFL star Deion Sanders to be their coach after he took a small school and turned them around in 3 years. So they paid him, I think it was like close to $27 million or whatever, for a 5-year coaching gig at Colorado to try to bring the University of Colorado back into the college football hierarchy of great teams. They haven't been a great team in a really long time, haven't had a lot of people drafted from Colorado in a long time, so they want to sort of change that around. And with Deion's track record at this little mid-major, small major, they brought him in, and it's already paying off dividends because the season tickets have gone up. The buying of Colorado memorabilia and stuff like that is going up as well. The only problem is that 23 members of the college football team have decided to enter the transfer portal, which means they can go and play at any other school in the country as well. Now, when Deion went in, he said that if you cannot handle what I'm going to be bringing, you may as well just leave now, because this team last year was 1-11. So they're not a very good team, and Deion would have gotten rid of them somehow anyway, or would not play them. He would get a whole bunch of other people, and if they were still on the team, he probably wouldn't play them if they weren't good enough. So 23 of them are transferring to other schools, and but that's okay because the fact that Deion Sanders is coaching there now and has a track record, they're getting a ton of people coming in also from the portal to join Colorado and become a new big-time school again. So we'll see how that works out when they play their first game in September against TCU, who made it to the Final Four last year. Elon Musk launched a rocket a couple days ago, and it was destroyed, blew up not too long after takeoff, and some of the debris destroyed a minivan. And also, he has put out an alert for people to, if they find wreckage of the rocket, to please return it to him. So, yay, I guess. Man is living 100 days underwater, and the reason why he's doing it is hoping it will do extraordinary things to his body. He's trying to turn himself into a superhero, and I don't understand how or why that's happening, how it could happen, but it's happening. So I guess we'll find out in 100 days if there's something to it. There's not. Have you felt off over the last few days? I know I have. I tell you that much. I had a rough beginning of the week, and it's been getting a little better. But let me tell you why. Guess what's in retrograde again? Mercury's in retrograde again. For those who don't know, Mercury, the closest planet to our sun, orbits the sun in like 69 nice days, something like that. And it has a weird orbit where it will orbit like all other planets will for a little bit, and then it'll stop and it'll orbit the opposite way. That means it's going retrograde. That only lasts for a little while, then it stops and then it orbits normal again, which is kind of a weird little bizarre thing that it does. But people blame, because the people, particularly people who are interested in astrology and stuff like that, they are determined to state that the reason that they're having a tough time in their life at this moment is due to Mercury's retrograde, because that ain't normal for a planet to reverse its rotation around the sun. But this year's retrograde, it has like multiple retrogrades in a year, like 2 or 3 in a year. This first one of the year, I guess is the first one, is particularly stubborn because the constellation of Taurus is in Mercury is in Taurus's house right now. Taurus is the notorious astrology sign for people who are very stubborn about things. So they're thinking that, things are going to become more stubborn and more problematic in the near future for those who believe about Mercury retrograde. So gird your loins and try to survive the next month or so. Only Murders in the Building season 3 has finished wrapping production. That's good because Paul Rudd, who's guesting in that season, has to move on to start filming Ghostbusters Firehouse. We got the first behind-the-scenes photos of that. We see the return of Ernie Hudson's Winston Zedmore. We also see the return of Paul Rudd's character from the first movie. Apparently, he appears to be wearing a Ghostbusters jumpsuit, so he must have joined the kids and his new girlfriend in becoming Ghostbusters. And, spoiler alert, so if you don't want to hear this, you might want to cover your ears for a second. There is a photo which shows William Atherton's Peck from the first Ghostbusters movie making an appearance in Firehouse. So he will be returning in some form or another. It will be as Peck, obviously, but we don't know what the situation is because we don't know anything about the plot. And it still is driving me bonkers that they believe they're going to still be able to get the movie out by December, considering all of the special effects they have to do. And they've only been filming for a little bit now. So, I mean, I guess if they can film it within a month or so, that'll give them about 6 months to get it all done before it releases on December 20th. So I will definitely be there for the opening day of that because I loved Ghostbusters Afterlife. And that's good also because, what is his name? I always hate this. Let's see. Just got to do this real quick. Finn Wolfhard, who starred in, or was one of the co-stars of in Afterlife, and also is one of the co-stars in Stranger Things, has to go on and start filming Stranger Things season 5. So it got me thinking. It's kind of interesting to think about this stuff. Is that Paul Rudd went from Only Murders in the Building, jumped right into Ghostbusters Firehouse. Finn Wolfhard is making this film and has to jump right into doing Stranger Things. David Harbour is doing the same thing. Well, he's actually going to be doing double duty with Thunderbolts and Stranger Things at the same time, since they're both filming in Atlanta. But I just kind of find it interesting that, thing about these actors' lives is like, okay, they're doing their stuff for this one show, and they're like, okay, guys, I'm off. I got to do my next movie, which is this. And I just think it's kind of interesting. But yep, that is interesting. So that has just made Ghostbusters Firehouse just a little bit more interesting to see what happens with that. It ends with us based on the novel. It gets Blake Lively, Justin Baldini, and Brandon Sklenar involved in the film, so that's good for them. Lord of the Rings, Rings of Power continue to suffer bad luck for whatever reason. Now, a Lord of the Rings fanfic writer is suing the Tolkien estate and Amazon for copyright infringement, which I can't understand how that can be, because you're writing fan fiction on Tolkien's characters. And I don't know if you believe that they stole your ideas and put it in Rings of Power. I don't know. But I don't think you have a case to stand on either. So whatever. Rachel Lee Cook is in a new film for Netflix called A Tourist Guide to Love, which start open this weekend. So you go ahead and check that out. Strange marks have begun to appear on a 600-year-old Leonardo da Vinci Codex, and nobody knows why. So weird things are going on at the Circle K here. So that's kind of interesting. Daniel Handler, who is a series of unfortunate events writer, is going to be penning a horror film based on the Gollum legend, not the Gollum. Gollum legend is basically a Jewish legend about how someone, I think they put a specific berry or flower or something into a man of clay, it'll create this golem, which is a sort of a brainless sort of creature that cannot be stopped, that will obey the Jewish person who built him into getting revenge against those who have wronged him. It was, I think, a story that started in the Holocaust. And I think it's been a tradition in the Jewish culture for a long time. And I think it helped the Jewish people in the concentration camps get through some of the hard times they had. And it has made appearance in comics before. Jimmy Palmiotti and Justin Gray wrote a comic about a golem, and Ragman is an interesting sort of take on that as well. So could be interesting to see how that works out. We're into the rumor part of our section. The next two stories are rumors. Nothing has been signed, sealed, and delivered, but one is a really good idea. The other is a really bad idea. So we'll get into that. First, a really good idea. John Boyega is rumored to be joining Daisy Ridley on the Ray spinoff movie series. I think that'd be great. They need to give his character a whole lot better arc than they did in the final movie. He had a pretty interesting arc in Force Awakens. It sort of skewed a little bit in The Last Jedi. And then it was just awful in Rise of the Sith or the Rise of Skywalker or something like that. So hopefully this will bring back to his sort of Jedi sort of, he had a Jedi sort of thing going on in the first one, and that would have been an interesting story to follow with. And maybe he's going to join Rey as they train new Jedi. So I think that is the story, because that was when I heard they were doing a Rey spinoff, I was like, it better be about her training new Jedi, because Last Jedi teased that there are Jedi sensitive people out there still, and it'd be fun for that movie for them to follow up on that. And if you get John Boyega in that, who is kind of Force sensitive, that just adds to the intrigue about it and makes that movie that much more interesting if they can get him. He did say he was not interested in returning, but if they can do his character right, I think he'll be just fine with coming back, because I think he probably enjoyed it. I know he enjoyed working with Daisy Ridley. So we'll see what happens with that. I kind of hope it happens, because I think it would be a really good thing to have those two together, with a whole bunch of new characters, sort of like a Mandalorian sort of thing going on. And I think it'd be kind of cool. So we'll see what happens with that. On the flip side, I am not a fan about this. Adam Driver, who was great as Kylo Ren, don't get me wrong, and is a pretty good actor, but now he is rumored now to be getting cast as Reed Richards in the Fantastic Four movie. And I think that is a awful idea. And I just saw this too. I personally think he'd be a better Silver Surfer, but he also might be an intriguing Doctor Doom as well. If they are indeed going to go that way, I think that would be interesting, but I doubt that he would want to redo a character that's wearing a mask again and being like a Kylo Ren type. But I think a Silver Surfer Adam Driver would be better. And I still think he'd probably be a good Doctor Doom as well, but not Reed Richards. I don't see him as Reed Richards. I don't like the idea of him as Reed Richards, which means more than likely that he's probably going to be cast as Reed Richards. So we'll see what happens. Hopefully not, but we will see. Casting that is official: Ryan Reynolds, Jason Momoa, Aubrey Plaza, and Vince Vaughn are set for the R-rated live-action animated hybrid film Animal Friends. Don't know much about what that is. I think it's a road movie sort of thing, but that's a very intriguing cast. It will be R-rated, so you can only imagine what's going to be going on with that. And say what you want about Brie Larson. I like Brie Larson. I don't quite understand all the hate for her. I mean, I understand why a lot of people don't like her, but I think it's wildly off base. She has been cast in an Apple Plus adaptation of Lessons in Chemistry, which is a best-selling novel, which I bought my wife for Christmas this past Christmas. She's going to be doing a TV series. The first teaser for it came out this week. The premise behind it is Brie Larson plays a 1950s woman who is hugely intelligent, is a great chemistry, has a great mind about chemistry, but she is a female in the 1950s, and she sort of gets kicked out of working for the chemistry industry. So she has to restart her life over again, and she discovers that she can use her ideas of chemistry for making food. So she creates a TV show in the early days of TV that's a cooking show using chemistry as her cooking show specialty. My wife read the book. She enjoyed it. So could be intriguing to see how they do with that as well. BuzzFeed News is shutting down as the company hits 15%. It is going to cut 15% of the workplace. And also Disney apparently is going to have some more layoffs starting on Monday. Not sure why, but apparently they're there. A gigantic 13-foot crocodile was found on an Australian beach with its head chopped off. Now, people are still trying to figure out how it happened. One theory is that they believe it is revenge because there have been a number of crocodile attacks on humans lately in Australia, and they believe that someone might have been able to sneak up on a crocodile and chop his head off. But a 13-foot crocodile waiting to get his head chopped off by a person with an axe, I don't see it happening. It's a 13-foot crocodile, and a crocodile skin is tough. It's not It's not like, hey, we can cut it like butter. No, it would take a lot of wax to behead it. And this was a clean beheading. And other people think it might have been attacked by another crocodile, but the slicing of the head is not jagged, which doesn't show like it was chopped off like by a creature because there aren't like the teeth marks on it. So no one is quite sure what happened here. And this is to be continued, so it's kind of creepy. 420 was earlier this week. You know, the Puff Puff, I should say that's more like it, the Puff Puff holiday. On that day, Cody Bellinger of the Los Angeles Dodgers hit a 420-foot home run on 420. That doesn't have to do with anything. I just thought that was kind of funny. The Boston Marathon was also this week. My cousin Greg ran it for like the second or third year in a row. You have to qualify to run in the Boston Marathon. So the fact that my cousin has done it a couple times is really cool. This story is not about him, though. It's about someone else who ran the Boston Marathon. Apparently, a runner was caught taking a dump in someone's yard during the Boston Marathon. So they're running the Boston Marathon. They feel the urge. They need to take a shit. They aren't anywhere near a bathroom. So they just run off to someone's neighborhood and take a shit in their yard. And I think they got caught by it. Again, was not my cousin. But I just thought it was kind of interesting that he ran the Boston Marathon like for the second or third year in a row. But it was not him who was shitting in somebody else's yard. It wasn't. Okay. So you can stop making your little stupid jokes. Season two of Andor has shut down production in the UK due to safety issues. Once those safety issues get worked out, it will come back on, but it could delay the arrival of Andor next year on Disney Plus. In a We Don't Need This, but they did it anyway reboot, a new trailer for the White Men Can't Jump reboot has made an appearance, and it looks blah. I grew up watching the original, so of course I'm going to be a little bit biased about it, but it just doesn't look that interesting to me. I talked about this story a while back, but here's the numbers about it. WB Discovery owes Paramount $52 million over South Park streaming rights. And this is a lawsuit that's been going on for a little while now. So we finally have the right numbers and who's suing who. So we'll see how that turns out. Just more problems for WB Discovery. Scientists have solved how the Mayan calendar works. I guess there was some stuff trying to be figured out how the Mayan calendar was used and created and stuff like that. And someone finally solved the case of it. So now they know how the Mayan calendar was created and works. Krispy Kreme is one of those donut people that do specialized donuts for everything. Their newest specialty donut is the Chips Ahoy donuts based on the Chips Ahoy cookie. They made donuts with Chips Ahoy cookies on them and stuff like that. So kind of shame about that. Star Trek Picard finished its final episode of its final season. A lot of people enjoyed it, said it was one of the best things they ever saw. And very soon after that, they released a new trailer for Star Trek Strange New Worlds Season 2, which takes place as kind of a prequel to the original Star Trek series. So the new Season 2 trailer popped up, and I got to find that other one because there's another big thing that came up this week. Star Wars related. There it is right there. Michelle Yeoh, who had made an appearance in one or two other Star Trek series, playing a member of Section 31, which is the Black Ops secret department of Starfleet. Now that she is a Oscar Award winner and she's always loved the character, Star Trek has decided they're going to create a movie based around her character from Section 31. So it's going to be a special event only on Paramount, which is airing. So it's not going to be in movie theaters, which is a shame. But Section 31 is a Star Trek movie starring Michelle Yeoh as she reprises the role of a character in this Wet Works Black Ops sort of Starfleet group, which is a really good idea, honestly, because you're always looking at how sweet and nice and wonderful Starfleet is. And you also need to know there's got to be a dark underbelly somewhat also. And we've seen it a few times, I think, in DS9, and that might have actually been where Michelle Yeoh's character first appeared. Not 100% certain, but the fact of the matter is she will be getting her own movie, which is outstanding. Will Ferrell has been making a name for himself. This is the first of 2 times that Will Ferrell is going to appear on the show today. This one is more intriguing than the other one, honestly, in my opinion. But Will Ferrell is teaming up with the currently hot Rian Johnson, who just did the Knives Out and the Knives Out movies, and also just did the one movie, the one TV series. I forget what it's called. It's going to kill me if I can't figure it out. Poker Face. Yep. The hugely successful Poker Face TV show. He and Will Ferrell are going to be doing a golf comedy series, which I think is kind of interesting. Will Ferrell is known to make movies about not off-kilter sports. He did an ice skating movie. He did a an amateur league basketball movie. And now he's doing a series, comedy series about golf with Rian Johnson of all people, which I think is a great idea. So that should be an intriguing thing to see what they do about that. The Duffer Brothers, the creators of Stranger Things, have a new series coming on Netflix very soon after Stranger Things ends. It's called The Burrows, and it's basically Stranger Things meets the Golden Girls. So we'll see how that is. Duffer Brothers are very busy. They should also be working on their Talisman series based on the Peter Straub and Stephen King novels, and they've got some other stuff going on as well. But I think this was the other story idea that they had going in that was announced a while back. Ouija Shark 2. I didn't know there was a Ouija Shark 1, but another B movie with a interesting name has popped up. The sequel is now here. Ouija Shark. You bring the shark. You attract the shark by doing a Ouija board to get him to do your bidding. Intriguing idea. Mesh pants are the new summer style coming for men this year. They're mesh pants that you are going to put over your shorts so that insects do not bite you during the summer, and mosquitoes don't sting you and stuff like that, and bees don't sting you. Death this week also. Edward H. Meyer. He built the Gray Group, which was an ad giant. He died at the age of 96 this week. And anniversary this week, Hot Fuzz came out 16 years ago this week. Next, the Oakland Athletics are a snake-bitten baseball team. They don't draw much people to their games. Their owner, who is fairly rich but is a cheapskate when it comes to the team, does not put any money forward, and so Oakland's Coliseum is a piece of shit. Oakland, unfortunately, probably deserves better, but they didn't. The Raiders moved to Las Vegas, and now it looks like the Oakland A's will be doing the same. It's been rumored that was going to happen, but now is almost official because the Oakland A's management has purchased land in Las Vegas to build a new stadium. So it's only a matter of time now before Oakland moves to Las Vegas to join their football team, and Oakland goes back to having no teams again. This series is actually looking more and more funny, and I was a little bit curious about it when I first saw the teaser for it, but now that I know more about the story, I was like, ooh, this could be really good. Arnold Schwarzenegger will be doing his first ever TV series. I believe it's for Netflix. It is due out May 25th, and we get a full trailer. It is called Fubar, and the trailer basically shows what the story is going to be about. Basically, Fubar focuses on Schwarzenegger, who was a CIA agent, FBI black ops sort of guy who went in and was like a one-man army like you expect Schwarzenegger to be. And the show starts with his one last mission where he is successful, and now he's retired because he wants to spend more time with his now grown-up daughter, 28, and try to get back with his wife, he's been divorced from for 15 years. Now that he's free of any obligations to the CIA and he's a retired secret agent, whatever you want to call it. However, he gets called back into service for one last mission. But there is a reason for it, where we discover that his own daughter has been true liesing him, and she actually is a CIA operative also. And she is currently in trouble, so they need him to go in and get her out. So he was saying he's retired, but when they convinced him, and then when he saw it was his daughter, it became a whole new thing. So now he and his daughter have to work with a ragtag group of people to escape from the bad guys who are after them. So it looks like a really fun True Lies, take sort of a spin on True Lies, but if Elijah Dushku and Arnold Schwarzenegger work together as CIA operatives or wet works people, but it's not Elijah Dushku, unfortunately, but it should still be a very interesting film, our TV series, though. So Fubar looks pretty good. I might check that out. It comes out May 25th. It's been a while since we got any Doctor Who news. We got the news last week that Fortnite appears to be doing a 60th anniversary Doctor Who event, which will have skins and all kinds of stuff. And it looks really, really good. And it'll probably be part of the next battle pass, since this one's up June, July, August. No, there'll be 2 battle passes from now, probably, because probably the secret skin and the chapter 4, season 4 skin, because the 60th anniversary is in November. And chapter 4, season 3 is due to start in June, go June, July, August, and then September, October, November. No, in August, June, July, August, September, October, November, like be sort of the end of the beginning of sort of things. So it should be right around the time of the new battle pass. Could be part of, nothing about it, maybe could be part of this, because December is really chapter 4 season, or is it season 1? I don't know. Somehow it's going to be a big event. Anyway, regardless. Some new photos surfaced this week. It appears that they must have taken a breather for a little bit, but it looks like they're back to filming the new season of Doctor Who with the new Doctor and his new companion. And the pictures they show have them dressed in 1960s style clothes, and they believe there's going to be a storyline set in the 1960s where they're wearing these sort of outfits. So it looks kind of good. So it makes me even more excited for the series as well. And I need to get caught up here. Scorsese, Martin Scorsese, is going to be producing a novel adaptation of What Happens at Night into a series, I guess, or movie. So he'll be producing but not directing it. Courtney V. Vance has been cast as Colin Bubble in the live action version of Lilo and Stitch. Godzilla X Kong, the new Empire, is the sequel to the current legendary Godzilla series. Be the 4th one in the series. My son and I binged the first 3 last year, and we're interested about this new one. Got its first teaser that focused more on Kong and a potential new villain, another type of Kong type creature. James McAvoy has been cast in the Blumhouse reboot of the Danish film Speak No Evil. Blumhouse is always good about making low budget sort of films and making money on them, so this is no different. And we really don't need this again. Twilight will be getting its own TV series. So they'll be redoing all the Twilight movies, but this time in TV format, not, straight up adaptations like they're doing with the Harry Potter stuff over on Max. And then Galaxy Quest, which is a great one-off movie, is now getting its own TV series, which really doesn't make a lot of sense to me either. That they keep remaking and rebooting stuff that does not need to be done. They need to come up with new ideas, but that's not going to happen anytime soon. So we got those coming up. Insidious continues its run in movie theaters. It's the newest movie of the franchise. Is called The Red Door and will be coming out this summer. First trailer for that came out this week. The Cheesecake Factory has created ice cream bars. That's always a good thing because Cheesecake Factory is awesome. Amazon the Amazon wedding comedy You're Cordially Invited, starring Will Ferrell again, Reese Witherspoon, Geraldine Viswanathan, and Meredith Hager, is presently in production right now. Psycho Killer from the Seven writer Andrew Kevin Woyler has cast James Preston Rogers, Logan Miller, and Georgiana something or other in the movie. So we'll be getting the Psycho Killer movie coming out from the writer of Seven. McDonald's is changing up its burgers and changing the formula and how they're making it. And they're bringing back the Hamburglar also in commercials to promote the new hamburgers that McDonald's will be making. Rare red asteroids have been discovered orbiting Neptune. So that's always kind of interesting. They believe that these red asteroids may have some link to the creation of our universe. So I'm going to try to study it a little bit more. Jessica Biel is the next name of a actress who's sort of been in the background, who hasn't really done much, who has suddenly been thrust into taking over roles for other bigger established actors and actresses who have left their movies. In this case, Jessica Biel is replacing Mary Elizabeth Winstead in the movie Ursa Major. So we'll see if this, along with some of the other movies that I mentioned last week that are changing up casts with actors from the early 2000s who were popular then but haven't had a huge interest in over the last decade or so, coming back into things right now. Speaking of that, Mel Gibson, yippee, racist asshole, who I still blame for the state of our country right now, when his awful Passion of the Christ movie brought out the religious fanatics and showed the government that these are the people you want to back so they can get you elected. We'll be making a serial killer film called Boneyard. Pedro Pascal, Matt Damon joined Margaret Qualley and Beanie Feldstein in the Ethan Coen film Drive Away Dolls, a lesbian road movie. So good on that. All the Light We Can See is Sean Levy's World War II epic series with Mark Ruffalo. Gets its first trailer. I believe that's going to be on Netflix as well. Prehistoric Planet 2 gets its first trailer. Prehistoric Planet is basically a planet Earth, but for prehistoric creatures. So it follows in the form of a nature documentary, but about dinosaurs and how they do stuff like that. It's been fairly popular, and it's popular enough that it made a second season. Netflix will be shutting down its DVD by mail business after 25 years. Didn't know it was still going on, but apparently it was, but now it's not. It has been shut down. Local divers have found a submarine at the bottom of Long Island Sound. They thought it was there, and they finally found it. Keanu Reeves is joining, of all people, Seth Rogen and Aziz Ansari in a film called Good Fortune, which will be Ansari's directorial debut as well. So it's good to see Keanu Reeves getting back into kind of a comedy aspect of things. Mountain Dew has released its summer flavor. It's available at Walmart now, I believe, so I have to make my way over there sometime soon and pick up a bit to taste it. It is called Summer Freeze, and it looks like, much like how their summer ones are, a mix of their flavors. Like red, white, and dew is outstanding. I love red, white, and dew. Basically, it mixed the regular green Mountain Dew with Code Red and Mountain Dew Blue, and that was really good. Then they did one last year, which was okay. I forget what it was called, but it wasn't as good as Red, White, and Dew. This one sounds interesting though. This one is going to be flavored like a what is it? A bomb pop. You know, those red, white, and blue bomb pops that you get, the ice cream pop things. So they're supposedly should be similar to, I guess, Red, White, and Dew, but it should have maybe a slightly different flavor here because the flavors are slightly different. The white might actually be more along the lines of the white Mountain Dew that they have out there as well. So I'm interested to try that. I think that's actually going to be probably a really good one after some of these misses that they've had lately. So this one could be really interesting. So I'm going to check that out. Plus it's, makes you think of summer, and I'm not the biggest fan of summer, but there are instances where this is kind of a neat idea. And a what the hell, or has hell frozen over? Never thought this was going to happen story this week. Charlie Sheen, he of Tiger Blood and Winning, is reteaming with Chuck Lorre. Now, remember, Chuck Lorre was the guy that he was feuding with in 2.5 Men, which caused the whole Winning and Tiger Blood and all that bullshit that Charlie Sheen went through. Was it 20? Had to have been, because it was when we were in the old building, 2010, somewhere around there. And Chuck Lorre had his revenge on him in the series finale of 2.5 Men, and he shot back at Charlie Sheen also. But the two of them have apparently buried the hatchet and are reteaming to make a Max comedy series. So this means it's going to be a little bit more risque, called How to Be a Bookie. So as long as they don't have any more issues with each other, the two of them together could be magical again, because the first few seasons of 2.5 Men were really good. But you can also credit John Cryer for that as well, because I like John Cryer. I think he doesn't get enough credit, and he did help out a lot with that. Anniversaries, we have Forgetting Sarah Marshall, 15 years ago this week. Holes is 20 years old this week. Deaths, Chris Smith, former Ravens defensive end, dies at the age of 31. And Murray Mellon, Phantom of the Opera, the original 1930s Phantom of the Opera, black and white film. And Barry Lyndon, actor, died at the age of 90 this week. Another anniversary, Superman Day was this week. He was 85 years old, his 80th anniversary. And death, Dave Wilcox, Hall of Fame linebacker for the 49ers, died at the age of 80 this week. Actually, I only have 2 on this side, so I'll hit those real quick, and then we'll just finish up this page. Construction has begun on a new $70 million exhibit, which will be built under the Lincoln Memorial. That could be I don't know how you're going to build under the Lincoln Memorial, since we're pretty much at like sea level. How much further you're going to go down? You're going to get into the Potomac at that point. But no, apparently they're building something under the Lincoln Memorial. Maybe there's a little slot under there. So it could be an interesting exhibit to see what they're going to do with that. And sport card maker Panini is suing porn company Bang Brothers over faked trading cards. I guess they're pornographic ones. What's a sports card company doing with fake porno cards? No idea. Not my business. That's awesome. Couple of moose stories. A moose was captured on film in a New Hampshire neighborhood being followed by the police. And how would you like this to happen during your wedding? You're doing your wedding, outdoor wedding, in the wilderness. It's beautiful. It's gorgeous. And then your photographer notices that, you're right by a river. On the other side of the river, a grizzly bear is attacking a moose during your wedding day. That actually did happen. So there you go. The first images from Wicked, the movie version of it coming out next Thanksgiving, made an appearance. They look okay, I guess. It's just the first couple pictures of it. Guy Ritchie is being sued for breach of contract over The Gentleman. Don't know much story behind that, but he is being sued for that. Class of 09 trailer with Brian Tyree Henry and Katie Mann popped up this week. Didn't watch it because I really had no interest in it, but it's on FX, so you can check it out if you're interested in that sort of thing. A Quidditch video game is in the works right now. So you'll be able to play Quidditch. That could be a pretty interesting sort of sport game as well. Stan Lee will be receiving a documentary on Disney Plus June 16th to celebrate his 100th birthday. The Diplomat with Kerry Russell came out on 4/20. The first trailer for it, the first one I ever saw for it, came out this week, and then the show comes out. So there we go. But check it out. I don't know if that's her taking off her sexy panties and then hopping on a dude and grinding him. So that's kind of cool. Maybe I have to check that out myself. Oh, yeah. Actually, I'll save that one for last. James Gunn announced on Superman Day, when Superman's 85th anniversary, that Superman Legacy, the Superman film that he'll be writing and directing, has started pre-production. I think the script is done, and so they're starting to get the work done on effects and casting and building sets and stuff like that. Arby's, I did not know they did this, but I guess you're going to have to check it out myself. Arby's is bringing back their hugely popular D&D dice. I'll have to see if my local Arby's is going to be selling them. If they are, I will have to buy them for my wife and daughter. Niantic and Capcom are joining forces in a new AR mobile game called Monster Hunters Now. Now, remember, Niantic is the one that does Pokemon Go, and Capcom is a huge video game thing, and now Monster Hero is, I think, or Monster Hunter is a actual anime or video game, something like that, but they're doing a handheld version of that could be interesting to see how that actually works. After, I guess, the success of its first volume of Tales of the Walking Dead universe, second season of Tales of the Walking Dead universe has been ordered by AMC, which is going to focus on one-off stories with not maybe hugely famous actors, but, pretty high caliber actors. Anthony Edwards was in one. I think there was one other really big actor who was in one also. The guy from Brooklyn Nine-Nine, Terry, played Terry. Terry Jeffers. I forget the actor who played him. His name's also Terry. Anyway, AMC has announced a second volume of them, so you'll be seeing more one-offs in the Walking Dead universe, which is always an interesting thing to go back and explore to see how other people are reacting to stuff. A couple weeks ago, I announced that Sylvester Stallone has signed an overall development deal with Amazon. Well, his first part of that deal is coming to fruition now. He will be starring in an action comedy film called Never Too Old to Die for Amazon. So he'll be sort of rejoining the action comedy world. He hasn't done one of those for a while. The Idol trailer for Max, I believe, is a new trailer that The Weeknd is creating about musicians, and it stars Lily Rose Depp, Johnny Depp's daughter, and The Weeknd. It's kind of a sexy sort of Euphoria sort of style to it. The D&D movie, Honor Amongst Thieves, has made back its budget. So anything else that it makes from now on is going to be profit. So it did fairly well. So that might be enough to create a sequel. David's Bridal is filing for bankruptcy. So I don't know. I guess not as many people are getting married, or they're not going to these high-end bridal shops anymore. Don't know. Benedict Cumberbatch's film project, How to Stop Time, is now no longer a movie. It is now a series. So we'll see if Benedict is probably still going to portray it, since he's been now working on it. Anthony Russo, who's starring in the new Transformers movie coming out this summer, has joined the cast of Twisters, the sequel to Twister. Kahia Machado has been cast as David in the live-action Lilo and Stitch movie, which now, if everything, and the original voice of Stitch should be coming back for the live-action computer animated version of it. Now that David has been cast, as has the secret agent, which I just told you that Courtney B. Vance is playing, they have now cast the main cast of Lilo and Stitch. So that's starting to get ready to rock and roll there. In some local news, a pop-up wine village will be showing up in the Inner Harbor this summer, again, to try to help bring more people down to the Inner Harbor, with Harbor Place being redeveloped right now. We always did well. They've done well with the Christmas village that we've been doing, and now they're going to do this pop-up winery thing. There's also going to be some sort of German village that's going to be popping up down there eventually too. So those are good draws. So why not keep doing that for a little while until you get Harbor Place back on the map? Mortal Kombat was released on streaming in 2020 during COVID, and when we were all staying inside our house, stuff like that. And it was a huge hit via streaming. So a sequel has been greenlit and will be starting production on it this summer. Jack Black's song Peaches from Super Mario Brothers, last week I said, is eligible for Oscar nomination. This week, discovered that it has charted in the Billboard 100. So the Super Mario song, Jack Black song Peaches, is on the Billboard 100 best songs of the week. Go figure. Floyd is a new movie creation from writer Eric Olson, which he compares to John Wick meets The Big Lebowski. So that can only mean that instead of it being a John Wick who's sort of hyper-focused on stuff and a killer, you've got a Big Lebowski type who's sort of lazy, doesn't really do much, but when you come after him, he will kill you as efficiently as John Wick does. Sounds like that's what that's going to be about. Ganjaland is a board game like Candyland, but set in the world of ganja. Go figure. The Phantom of the Opera has ended its Broadway run after about 30-some years. Andrew Lloyd Webber, who was the creator of it, was there for the last show. He dedicated it to his son, who passed away a few weeks ago. Minecraft has teamed up with Pringles for a new flavor called Suspicious Stew. Don't know what that's about, but that could be an interesting flavor to try as well. And then I got one more story to do, but then we'll do Anniversaries, Death, and then we will do the story, and then we'll be done. Anniversaries. Kill Bill Volume 2 came out 19 years ago this week. Scream 4 came out in 2011, which is, 10, 12 years ago. The first Orioles home game in 1954 happened this week as well. They moved from St. Louis. They were the St. Louis Browns. They moved to Baltimore, became the Baltimore Orioles, and their first game was April 15th, I believe, this week in 1954. And Legend, the Tom Cruise, little scene Tom Cruise fantasy film directed by Ridley Scott with Tim Curry as a demonic villain, debuted in 1986. I saw it once, and I honestly don't remember all that much about it. I know there's unicorns in it, and I know Tim Curry's devil is basically how you expect the devil to look. He's red with giant horns and stuff like that. And then I don't remember much more about the movie like that, but it was a Ridley Scott fantasy film, and it came out in 1986, which is 86, 96, 2006, 2016, 37 years ago this week. Deaths this week. Hedda Kleinfeld Schachter died at the age of 99. She was a fashion magnate. And Bernie Rose, a curator who introduced a new way of drawing, died at the age of 87 this week. And the final story for today, before I head off for the night, at about 12:30 on the 23rd of April. people have been asking, when's this doing? What's going on with this? Sandman Volume 2, Chapter 2, Season 2, whatever you want to call it, has finally gotten a very good update from the producer himself, and creator himself, Neil Gaiman. Neil Gaiman has said that all the scripts have been written for Season 2. As expected, they started writing the script soon after Sandman debuted last year and became a huge hit on Netflix. So just in case that if Netflix didn't renew it, they'd have something to give to like an Amazon. So they say, hey, we've got these scripts, let's get them done. But Netflix has decided we're going to do a second season of it. So the scripts are done. The casting for the first episode they're going to be shooting is underway presently, and sets are being built. So Sandman Season 2 is going to be starting here within the next few weeks. Production, which means we should be seeing it probably sometime around this time. Yeah, probably later, probably next summer, probably 2024, because you're going to have to film it. Then you're going to have all the special effects, which is a big deal, which is why Netflix was a little bit hesitant about renewing it because of the special effects. That is all we have for this week, episode 497, War of the Woodland Animals, which basically was the whole moose versus grizzly bear thing. Honestly, I was sat here for 5 minutes trying to come up with a good name for the episode, and there it was. Next week is the last week of April. As I said, my daughter's high school will be doing a musical version of Addams Family, which is actually on Broadway now. They're going to be doing their version of it, the Broadway musical. It seems to be the huge trend because there's at least 2 other high schools that I know of that have also done, actually 3 that I think about now. 3 other high schools I know that have been doing this as well. So my daughter is on the behind the scenes crew working on it, and she's been working her butt off the last 2 weeks. This week is tech week, so she'll be at school till 8:30 every night this week. And then the show starts Friday, runs Friday, Saturday, and Sunday at Franklin High School here in Reisterstown. Come on out and support these wonderful high school students who haven't had a chance to do a real musical production in about 3 years now. This is the first one in a while. They did a cabaret last year, which was very well done, but it wasn't any musical. This is a way to sort of get back into things, and hopefully it'll be successful. So then next year they'll be doing a fall and a spring play, and my daughter will be ecstatic if that is indeed the case. And breaking news just popped up. I don't know what it is. I don't want to click on it right now. I'll have to check it. Let's just check it right now, see if it pops up. No, that's not that interesting. It's not really breaking news related. Let's see what's on Twitter here. See, I just want to see what's on. Oh, this isn't what I want to be. I want to be on this one here. All right, let's see what's breaking news here. Nope, don't see anything. So we'll see what happens. I'll have to check it out on my own here. So there was breaking news. It just popped up. So I don't know what it is because I don't want to mess up my viewing here. So come to Franklin High School here in Reisterstown, Maryland. Support the kids Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Sunday's a matinee, Saturday and Friday night. Definitely check it out. We're going Saturday night, so that'll be fun to see that. So we'll see that, and I don't know if I'm going to do my show Friday or Saturday or Saturday or Sunday. I haven't decided yet. My mom's birthday is also on Sunday. She got good news. She is getting her lumpectomy on May 19th, which is a Friday. So I'm going to take that day off and take her to get that done. And then she's going to need radiation for about 6 to 8 weeks, which puts her recovery hopefully by end of July, early August, which is way quicker than I thought it would be. I thought it wasn't going to be till September that she was going to be clear. So that's good news for her as well. So we'll see what happens with that. So that being said, I've got to figure out how I'm going to do my road to 500. But I will get it done. I'll have to I need to get the list now ranked now. I got the movies, need to rank them now. So be on the lookout for that. And as I said, probably doing a show sometime next weekend, probably Saturday again. And that's about all I have to say about that. So I'll check out what that breaking news is here in a second once I end my stream. Bye.